Made him famous, but murder charges may make him infamous. Dr. Ingolf Tuerk was once head of urology at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Brighton, Massachusetts.
Dr. Ingolf Tuerk is not your typical surgeon.
This promotional video from 2009 was made by St. E's parent company, Steward Healthcare.
At 6'3" with an athletic physique, it's easy to see why he was once a member of the German Olympic decathlon team.
It showcases the doctor's well-roundedness, his skill in robotic surgery, and its benefits. Fast forward to 2020, that pristine picture has drastically changed. Steward fired the doctor in February after a scandal involving fraudulent billing. 3 months later, he's behind bars without bond for allegedly killing his wife, Katie McLean. According to police, it was McLean's ex-husband that alerted them on May 15th that she was missing. That day, police found Tuerk unresponsive at a nearby Residence Inn. He was revived with Narcan, officers observing lacerations on his forehead and wrist, cuts on his arms and legs, consistent with walking through brush. The next day, police say Tuerk confessed to strangling McLean during a heated argument while they were drinking, claiming McLean hit him over the head with an object and he started choking her. Realizing McLean was dead, the doctor reportedly told police he panicked, dumping her body in a nearby pond. According to police and court records, the May 15th incident doesn't appear to be isolated. On December 7th, 2019, McLean alleges she thought she was going to die when Tuerk choked her and slammed her into their headboard. 1 week later, the couple married in Las Vegas. Then on January 11th, McLean alleges more violence, saying Tuerk threw her to the ground after asking if she was cheating. A few weeks later, she filed for an abuse prevention order and reported it being violated on February 5th, prompting police to charge Tuerk. Then, on May 2nd, McLean went to court and asked that her civil abuse prevention order be vacated. She asked prosecutors to drop the criminal case as well, but they didn't, and the judge wouldn't adjust Tuerk's bail conditions to allow him back into the home. But Tuerk went anyway. Now, all those past allegations may become an integral part of the state's murder case if they attempt to establish a pattern of domestic violence being carried out by the once highly regarded surgeon.
What a fall from grace. What a fall from grace. Unbelievable. Let's bring in our special guest, joining us from Boston, Massachusetts, former prosecutor, victims' right advocate, Wendy Murphy. Great to see you, Wendy.
You too, Vinny.
Let's start. I want to start with what we heard there at the end. This was really fascinating. This is actually, a volatile relationship. It seems it was. There was some violence involved, and the judge, though, didn't allow him back, even though the victim said, please let him back, which we see in a lot of domestic violence cases. That's the nature, unfortunately, of those relationships. But despite that, it doesn't stop, right? It doesn't stop someone. That's the frustrating thing here, isn't it? That it seems like the legal system did what it had to do.
It's such a common story, and I think that's the thing that frustrates me as an activist, been doing this work for so many years. This story is very typical. The revolving door at the courthouse, in part because the victim doesn't want to go forward. It's been a huge problem for a very long time. And not surprisingly, when minor incidents aren't addressed seriously, when they're not taken seriously by the court and something serious happens to the guy, no surprise, the severity of the violence escalates, and in many cases, the woman ends up dead. Believe me, I've read all the research, Vinny. When a woman ends up dead from domestic violence, it is never the first time the guy was violent. Never, ever, ever. So in that way, we shouldn't be surprised. People seem to be surprised when they hear about this case because he was such a famous doctor and he was so regarded and he was a prize winner, as if there's a line in the sand, like rich white doctors don't beat their wives and some other kinds of guys do. Wrong, wrong, and wrong. All kinds of guys beat their wives. Sometimes women are abusive too, but almost always it's men against women, and all types of men do it. In fact, men like this, wealthy, white, influential men from the suburbs, get away with it more often because in many cases the woman has more pressure on her not to reveal, not to ruin her lifestyle, not to embarrass them in the neighborhood and so forth. So This is not an unusual case, and I think we really have to keep that in mind when we talk about this case, that there's nothing weird about it, including the fact that the killer happens to be a doctor.
Well, the other part is this guy, and we heard the description, 6'3", athletic physique. He's a big guy. And I think where the defense may go in this case is say there was some level of a mutual fight and he was defending himself. But he's a 6'3" German Olympian. 6'3" German Olympian. So.
Yeah. Good luck with that defense. She was so tiny. You know, it's funny. He was working at the hospital where I was born. I have so many connections to this story. The woman was originally from my town. People know about these guys. They know about this couple. Anyone who knew him at all knew about her, and they knew he was an enormous guy with an awful lot of power over her, over power in every way imaginable, not just physical, but also financial. And, you know, it was his house, and he had so much control over her, and he used it. And then when his own life fell apart, he did what people do sometimes, took it out on others. He took it out on her, mixed that together with the alcohol, and he really had a life that was falling apart. And she was the target of his self-rage, if you ask me. I think he was mostly disgusted with himself, but he was taking it out on her, and he was, not afraid of being violent because, look, he had already gotten in trouble with the courts, and he walked away scot-free. So why not keep doing it? There's something weird about the defense in this case. I know that they're going to have to pull something out of a hat, but in my view, Vinny, there's not much of a defense here. If they say, well, you know, he was losing his mind, he was in a bad way, he had just gotten in trouble with the attorney general, he was drinking. It's in theory, it's possible he gets a discount to second-degree murder, and that would be a huge victory for the defense. But from where I sit, this is just a violent, entitled, wealthy white guy who thought he could do whatever he wanted to this woman and took it a step too far because he killed her. I mean, it's really that simple.
Wendy Murphy, great insight. Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right, folks, we're continuing to track this one. We have a scheduling conference scheduled for May 26th, but no trial date yet. Perhaps at the scheduling conference, they will schedule one.